that you could have caught me saying that, and you didn't.
Saying what?
I know that we're live now. I can see the little thing.
What's that red light mean? That means it's off. It means it's off, honey. Don't worry. The camera's not recording. Go ahead.
Damn it!
Chris is trying to catch me saying that I'm swallowing my nuts. Damn it!
There it is. There it is.
That was fun. I'm spent. I'm good now. You guys are in charge. I gotta go off and I'll be in my bunk.
He needs to go change his pants now, or his underpants.
Who wears pants when they
know.
broadcast?
It depends. Well, I didn't know if it was cold in your basement today or not.
Oh, it is. But I turned on the space heater at 7:30 a.m. this morning, so it's a roasty toasty 63 degrees in my basement instead of the 52 it was then.
Oh, all right. Well, then pantsless is necessary. Uh-oh. Crotch shot.
There. If you're watching live, yes, you potentially got a crotch shot from Naki's cam.
Yes. Boyfriend is walking around.
The return
Boyfriend.
Don't look at Keith's privates, man. Don't do it.
Hey, man, that was our most popular episode for a while.
I think that's because everyone thought it was porn.
Probably. We need more
now
porn
we're getting
and
crotch
porny
shots.
titles.
Well, that's what I've started to learn is that porn, even pseudo-porn, sells because, like, I used the Starling Tribune Facebook page to share Stephen Amell's Lightsaber Saturday post, and the first picture in it is him with no shirt on, and that got a crap ton of likes from the ladies. So I figured out that's how I get likes on Facebook pages is reshare Stephen Amell's topless photos.
That works.
I'm okay with this.
Yeah, so
It's all approved.
everybody wins.
Speaking of sex tapes, guess who I met last night?
Pamela Anderson?
So
Kim Kardashian? It could be a lot of people.
This list could go on for a while, but this is one that if you watched the sex tape, you're like, ugh.
So are you saying you watched said sex tape, Naki?
I had to. My own personal, I wanted to know what it would be, and it was exactly what I thought it would be, which is,
Yeah, that was a sex tape I was not lining up to see. I did not look for that one on the internet.
I wanted to know. So
you should
last
probably
night,
tell everyone who it is, though, instead of us teasing.
Yeah. I went to work at the comedy club, which I haven't done in a while, and I was serving / running / bartending, and the first show that we had was sold out, and I was like, oh, who do we have that's so popular? Turns out it was Dustin Diamond, also known as Screech from Saved by the Bell, and also he has a porn out there, if you did not know that already.
Is he doing stand-up?
He is doing stand-up. You're not missing anything.
Funny to do that, don't you?
Yeah, you're not missing anything. It was a lot of dick and fart jokes and calling his former castmates assholes. So
you're saying it's an episode of ATGN where it's dick and fart jokes, and we call each other assholes.
Well, we're not former castmates, not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
That's true.
I guess I should let you guys know I'm quitting all my podcasting as of today.
God damn it!
He's going to spend all of his time building Legos.
Building Legos.
He's
Yeah, I
doing
have a job to
podcast.
build Legos for kids that are too lazy to build their own.
Well, if Chris leaves, I leave. So, bye.
I'm not actually leaving. It's cool. Before anyone actually thinks that's
But
real.
But I am.
Oh, there goes our diversity quota.
Yeah, we're not diverse anymore. Now we're two 30-year-old white dudes talking about nerdy stuff on the internet. They're gonna hate us.
According to the hate mail and some of our reviews, the diversity quota is overmatched, and there shouldn't be any. So,
well then, fair enough. To quote
there
our
you
reviews.
go. I'll sub in boyfriend, and everything will be fine.
But you do know if it's three 30-year-old white dudes talking on here, the Mary Sue's going to write a scathing editorial about us because I'm sure we'll say something that is vaguely not really scandalous but sounds scandalous.
So what you're saying is you'll get more views?
Yeah, I think that sounds like a good thing, actually. It doesn't matter what they're saying about you as long as they're talking about you. It's good, right?
I guess. I don't have to deal with the bullshit though.
I don't know. Bring on the Mary Sue. I think they're gonna take exception to my super dick mode today.
Oh, I can't wait.
Do I get to argue your super dick mode today?
After
Is that
I'm
what you're
out of
saying?
super dick mode, yeah, I have a feeling you're gonna want to argue it.
So what you're saying is that After I publish this podcast, I should reply the Mary Sue. Listen to Anthony Bachman at this time. What do you think?
And then then say, and at Naki at One Nerdy Cupcake. Is that what? Yeah, One Nerdy Cupcake that replies immediately.
I'll go George Carlin mode. You want to know how to piss off some feminists?
Oh, dear Lord. So you met Screech. How'd that go, Naki?
About as well as you would think. Apparently, like, and my mom just informed me of this as I told her about this morning. Apparently, he stabbed someone in a bar in Wisconsin like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. He's
Him
on.
and his
So she's like,
girlfriend
how was he here? Yeah. I'm like, oh, well, I shook hand with the guy who stabbed someone, so I did that.
Was the professional clown girlfriend there with him?
Is that who that was?
If there was a clown there, that's his girlfriend. That's who also got arrested apparently during the stabbing episode. They talked about it on Hollywood Babylon. His girlfriend is a professional clown.
Oh,
Well, she was there.
Hey, and he's a professional ass clown.
She was there, and then there was this guy who, I don't know if he was with him or because he was hanging around him a lot, so I just assumed he was. But he was just wearing, like, this really trashy wig and these beads and, like, really bad makeup, and I was like... But he's like, after he left the building, he was still there and, like, talking to us, and we're just like, who are you? Who are you?
We don't know who you are. So he wasn't funny is basically the takeaway.
Like, there were some moments where, you know, he does a lot of shock comedy, which, to me, like, yeah, we do dick and fart jokes here, but we actually have, like substance to us, too, whereas it was all dick and fart joke and no substance whatsoever. He did have one good one where he was, like, talking about living with a girl for the first time, and he didn't know what menstrual pads are and that they're, you know, some of them are scented, so he hung the scented menstrual pads around his house because he thought they smelled really good. And that one was pretty funny.
Nice.
But, like, there was... Most of it was just, like, talking about farts and making fun of the audience. And the audience that comes to the comedy club that I work at, it doesn't really work. So it was a really quiet audience, and I was kind of like, awkward.
So it's been brought up to me in the chat room right now. Draftsman said that if Naki leaves, he can sub in because he's a 30-year-old Mexican dude, so at least he covers one minority.
There you go.
And then he also added, wait, there's substance here? And I had to inform him, never.
I mean, our substance refers to as me swallowing nuts, apparently.
Well,
or
we did make a ringtone for people, which I haven't given out publicly yet, that is Naki whispering robot penis into a microphone. We're that mature.
Robot penis. I mean, right now, my robot penis is currently covered by my little lower third, but, like, I could be stroking the robot penis and go, robot penis.
Dear Lord. And I guess evidently, what else is that glad I didn't get to go see him, Screech, last year for Valentine's Day. Yeah, that would have been a terrible Valentine's Day, it sounds like.
Yeah, he would have just made fun of you and your date and, like, been a dick about it. Like, that's basically what his show is, and I was like...
So, speaking of being a dick about things, welcome to episode 152 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. That's what we do. We be dicks to things.
We be dicks.
We
dicks.
Some days.
Sorry, that was too good of a transition for me to go into the intro. I apologize for overrunning you, Naki.
Nah.
But welcome everyone to episode 152. If you're not familiar with us, I'm Chris. Joining me today, my other regular co-host, we got Naki.
Hi.
And of course, Anthony Bachman.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. And if you're not familiar with our show, basically we get on the internet and we ramble about the nerdy news of the week and we make fun of things. And sometimes we're mature about it.
And dicks.
And we like bacon.
Pancakes.
Making pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Make the bacon and I put it in a pancake. Making pancakes.
Naki sings us some songs.
Bacon pancakes. Did you like the remix that I gave you, Anthony?
It wasn't bad, especially since I don't usually like remixes of songs. I like that one though. That was a good one.
It is acceptable.
So if you're on my Facebook, which I'm kind of selective on who I actually accept into my Facebook, but if you are so lucky enough to be in my Facebook, I posted this week a remix of the original Bacon Pancake song, which comes from Adventure Time. that is cut in with New York from Alicia Keys and
How did I miss this?
Jay-Z. It was actually like really well done, and I kind of wanted it to go on. It's only like it's a 35-second clip. It was pretty well done though. I was like, oh.
Yeah, it was the intro to the song.
Yeah. Making pancakes, making bacon pancakes.
I missed this. I'm really kind of upset by it. So
I even tagged Anthony.
well, I'm not always on the face place. All right.
Well, get better at being on the face space. See, I don't do the Twitters anymore.
I need a cell phone that actually works all the time. That problem's about to be solved.
Hooray!
Yay.
I'm actually debating.
Upgrade, huh?
So, what are you getting as your upgrade? Because I'm debating getting the Samsung 6 as my upgrade.
So, yeah, I guess we can talk about this now instead of doing. I was gonna save it at the end, but I actually put my upgrade in for the Samsung Galaxy S6 because I did my comparison between that and the new HTC One M9, and the Samsung was more powerful, more future-proof. The trade-off is the HTC has a full aluminum case, is probably a little more sturdy, whereas the Samsung has a Gorilla Glass front and back and is wrapped in aluminum. So it's not quite as well. It's Gorilla Glass. It's pretty stable, but
it has a Gorilla Glass back now.
Yes, it's a Gorilla Glass. It's like the iPhone 4, basically. Remember, it was glass front and back. They did something very similar for the new Samsung phone.
I wouldn't know.
I highly recommend OtterBoxes.
Yes. The whole reason
I'm a big fan of the OtterBox.
The whole reason I ended up going with the Samsung Galaxy S6 is because, like I said, better processor. Because they put the Snapdragon 810 processor, I believe, in the HTC One. And I'm sorry, this is really nerd speak, so for people that don't care about phones, I apologize. Which has overheating issues. So the phone gets warm. Warmth in a cell phone equals more power used. So you don't necessarily want that. The camera is also better in the Samsung if you use your camera a lot for capturing stuff, and the camera opens in about a second from any screen. Also very nice. And really what pushed me over the edge is the battery might be smaller in the new Samsung phone, but they put a new processor in there, which I think is a 14-nanometer processor versus the 20-nanometer processor that is in the HTC, so it's more energy efficient. So you lose battery, but your battery life stays the same as the previous generation because the processor is more efficient.
Nice.
So the question is it a phone or is it a phablet?
It is a phone. It is a 5.1-inch screen. It is literally the same size screen as was in the last generation Galaxy S5, only now it is a Quad HD Super AMOLED screen. So it is almost 4K.
Because I know when I upgrade, my biggest concern is getting something that's not half the size of my tablet. I don't need a tablet in my pocket. I want a damn phone.
Right. That's why I ended up going with the S6 or the M1. I wasn't going to wait for the new Samsung Note because that was too big. And really what also pushed me over the edge in both these phones, the HTC and the Samsung have it, is they have the turbochargers on them. And the Samsung phone comes with a turbocharger in the box. The HTC one doesn't. But basically what that means is with a half hour of time on the charger, you get 50% of your battery back because it just sucks down the power real fast with those turbochargers, which is awesome if you're running low on battery and need to go somewhere.
Nice.
Good to know.
And if you do decide to get one, they're doing pre-orders all over the place. I went to Best Buy to do mine because if you pre-order a Samsung Galaxy S6 at Best Buy, you get a wireless charging pad for free right now.
Oh,
So
nice.
you literally just set your phone on the charging pad and walk away and it charges.
See, my upgrade isn't for until August, so who knows, it'll be out by then. But I really like my Samsung Galaxy S4, so I just figured I'd stick with the Samsung Galaxy because it works perfectly to me. So.
I mean, it's all a matter of preference. Once they announced all the stuff at Mobile World Congress at the end of March, I went into full research mode because I was ready for a new phone, and that's what I ended up making the choice on because my current phone, the battery is so jacked up. I'll be at 60% battery. The phone will then randomly shut itself off, and when I turn it back on, it'll be down to like 13% battery.
So what we're saying is ATGN is fan of Samsung. The end.
I'm more of a fan of Android, but I'm not an Android hater like Steven
is an S3
sometimes is, and one John Sebastian is definitely an iPhone hater. If you've listened to any of the past Gonna Geek episodes, he has officially cut Apple out of his life.
I have done the same. I have done the same. I have nothing Apple.
Yeah, we might have a fight brewing in the chat room because I see SP goes, "Oh, iPhone 6 Plus for the win," and Willie Nelson goes, "Boo Apple! I'm so disappointed, SP." So keep an eye on the chat room for random brawls. It could be awesome.
Sackboy fight! Yes!
Go on, nerds. Go on, nerds.
So should we roll into our news of the week? Get into the good stuff?
News of the week.
Let's do it. News of the
We
week.
should.
And it sounds like from discussing pre-show, we might actually get 2 Super Dick modes out of this. So
Mine is not Super Dick mode worthy.
yeah, I think to break up the 2 Super Dick modes, I'll go first, and then Naki will go second. Anthony will close with you because Anthony and I are the 2 that'll potentially go into Super Dick mode. Does that
For
sound
once,
fair?
it's not me who hates everything.
I don't hate
Guys,
everything. I just hate some things.
This is the
I
first.
hardly ever hate anything, but I hate this.
I can't wait because my Super Dick mode, it's only gonna be like 10 to 15 seconds of me getting really angry just because it's a stupid thing. But Anthony sounds like it could be really good, and I'm intrigued. So I'll take my news first. It has to deal with Arrow. And are you guys all caught up on Arrow?
Yes.
Well,
For
so
once.
if you watched this last episode, I'm not going to spoil. I'm just going to say Deadshot, Floyd Lawton. He plays a big part in this last episode. Gets a lot of screen time, and you actually sort of begin to understand the character. A lot of fans, they really like what happened with him, so they started asking Mark Guggenheim on Tumblr, I believe it was. They said, "Hey, are we going to get Floyd Lawton or Deadshot back in any more episodes? Maybe even as a season regular next season." To which his response was, "Unfortunately, Deadshot is off the table for now." And if you've been reading between the lines and you read this and you saw this episode, it certainly looks like they're pushing the Suicide Squad off to the side. And there's a lot of theory as to why this is. Maybe I won't go into Super Dick mode. I'll just keep it straight up. But it seems to me a lot like the Suicide Squad movie's coming out. So Warner Brothers was like, no, you can't play with the Suicide Squad anymore. And they're pulling it away from Arrow. And what really seems to annoy me here is that nobody would give 2 craps about the Suicide Squad movie had it not been for Arrow introducing them. And doing a good job with characters out of it. So now they're just like, no, you opened everything up for us, but we want to make sure nobody confuses our 2 brands, so you can't use this anymore. It's ours.
Well, wasn't that their whole point? Is that the TV universe and the movie universe are different? So
Yeah.
then why are they? If DC's handing down a mandate telling Guggenheim and them to back off from Suicide Squad because the movie's coming out, then they're fucking morons. Because that's the worst thing they could do is pull any reference to the Suicide Squad off of the show that's the most popular thing they're doing before a movie comes out that honestly nobody cares about.
The thing that really bothers me with this one is the fact they're pulling it back, and it reminds me of something that really pissed me off back when I was reading all the Star Wars books when I was in like high school and middle school and things like that. And about the same time they came out with Episode 1 and things like that, they were doing this huge story in the books. It was called The New Jedi Order. There was alien invaders coming from outside the galaxy. And one of the predominant main characters there was Anakin Solo, the son of Han and Leia. Well, Episode 1 was coming out, and this has not been officially confirmed, but it's been unofficially confirmed through various leaks, is that George Lucas said, hey, we've got Anakin Skywalker. He's our main character in the prequels. You guys need to kill Anakin Solo because I don't want people confusing them. So they literally killed off a character they'd spent 2.5 years building up in the books to be one of the main characters and just wiped him out in the book because of a mandate from above. And that's kind of what this smacks of to me with Arrow, is that, hey, you guys have done all this great work establishing these things, but we want to make sure nobody confuses the Suicide Squad on Arrow with the Suicide Squad movie we have coming out. So, yeah, you're done.
Isn't Suicide Squad the movie not coming for like 2 more years?
I would have to double-check the date. I'll look real quick, but...
Something like
I mean,
that.
that's just stupid.
And the only thing that anybody's interested about in all ways is seeing Jared Leto as the Joker. Nobody actually cares about any of the people that are going to be in the Suicide Squad.
And let me be to clear things up so it doesn't sound like I'm just hating. There was nobody that's officially said Warner Brothers said we can't do this anymore, but a lot of people are inferring based off of what was read online that the ruling came from above. And I just double-checked. Suicide Squad is slated for August 2016.
Okay, so next year.
Next year.
I understand where they're coming from, but it's stupid. I mean, it's just stupid. And the thing is that I don't even think they're using the same people from each Suicide Squad, because you got Joker in the one that's coming out in the movie. I mean, here we got Deadshot and Cupid, and
I think Deadshot's the only carryover character.
I mean, like characters that have already been established in the Arrow universe.
Well, we talked about this a little bit on Starling Tribune. We're starting to think that you're going to see a lot of the Amanda Waller, Task Force X, Suicide Squad, and Argus things get phased out by the end of this season, and we're not really going to get much from them next season.
I mean, that's a shame because like the girl who they have playing Amanda Waller is fucking awesome. Like she nails it.
Yeah, and she oozes being. You want to hate her, but sometimes you're like, man, you're right what you're doing.
I do hate that she's skinny though.
She should be the wall.
She
is
is.
What you're saying?
She should be the wall. That should have been a job for an overweight actress. I'm
It should have been,
against
but I mean,
diversity and all that shit. But that's a character they should have cast a character per the comics.
I mean, yes, she is in the comics, and I do agree with you there. But at the same time, they did cast this woman who exudes the power that you want Amanda Waller to.
She has the attitude. I don't think she has the power. I don't look at her and see the wall. She does a great job as the character, but Amanda Waller in the comics is actually physically imposing as well. She's almost like a female Kingpin. She's just big. And so, like, there's that added thing that if she really wanted to, she'd come across the table and snap your fucking neck. And the little tiny chick they have on Arrow can't do that.
You're talking to somebody who's all about the diversity and everything like that. But I actually really do. I do like her casting, even though she's not the wall. I feel like if I met her in person, there is a good chance she could snap my neck off with her shoe. So, I mean, I was okay with that. I'm like, as long as she is a powerful black woman, I was okay with it, and I feel like they met that criteria. I didn't think they would cast the overweight actress because that's asking too much. This is the CW; it's all pretty people.
I thought
I guess that's true. It is the CW. I wasn't thinking about that.
The internet had it right when they wanted Oprah to be Amanda Waller in the movie.
Yeah,
that would have worked.
I'm still anti-Oprah.
Looking into the chat room right now, Chris Hansen's joined us. He said, "I still don't give a crap about the Suicide Squad movie, but mostly because I'm afraid of being hurt."
Well, DC is known for hurting us. I mean,
That's
Man of Steel. Come on, guys. Come on.
And then we've got the draftsman who's also chimed in on the Amanda Waller cast. And he goes, "Man, I think Amanda Waller should have been played by Star Jones." And then Willie Nelson's pausing. He goes, "I hope that's a joke." And draftsman, of course, he goes, "Of course. I mean, come on. Star Jones lost all the weight." I love our peanut gallery.
Our peanut gallery makes this show worthwhile.
Indeed.
So Naki, what'd you have for us for news? I'm done bitching about Arrow right now, I think.
I'm actually really excited for my news of the week. Those of you who have talked to me know how much I love the comic series I Kill Giants. Well, it has been slated for a movie, and Chris Columbus is directing it.
Nice.
For those of you who don't know I Kill Giants, it's about a young girl who slays monsters in both her imagination and real life. And it's beautifully done. It's done. I think it's Joe Kelly is the creator of it, which we'll be talking about him a little bit later. Again, I'm sure, but because we have other news. Yeah, it is Joe Kelly's graphic novel, and it'll. Oh, I'm sorry. Chris Columbus is. Chris Columbus is producing. Anders Walter is directing. So. Those of you who don't know who Chris Columbus is, he won an Oscar in 2013, I believe, for the movie for the short film Helium. If you haven't seen it, I believe you can find it on YouTube, or you can find it on there's like a whole bunch of sites you can find it streaming on. It's really, really good. And then Kelly is sorry, as I choke on myself here. This is actually like part of Man of Action Entertainment, which did Big Hero 6. So I'm really looking forward to this. I really loved Big Hero 6. I thought they did an amazing job, so I'm really, really looking forward to I Kill Giants on the big screen, because that means, oh my god!
It was a good book.
I was going to say, if you have not read I Kill Giants, you can find him pretty much everywhere. I've actually found it at my local secondhand bookstore for $3. But, I mean, if you want to support directly to the creator, which I always recommend, especially Joe Kelly, because he does some amazing work, you can find it pretty much anywhere at this point. So, highly, highly recommend I Kill Giants. Really, really, really excited to see this movie. Cannot I think I just squeed a lot when I went like that. Now
I
all
love
your
it that you
eardrums are
did that
bleeding.
without our prompting too.
I
mean, I was all set up to be like,
eardrums
I'm gonna
bleed.
have to set this up so that she makes the weird noise, and you did it on your own, and I really appreciate you not making me have to work for it.
I'm glad that I can do this for you, Chris. This is what my life has been dedicated to, is making your life easier.
That's a great thing to dedicate your life towards. I mean, I like it when my life is easier, so I think everyone should do the same.
However, you are still going to have to edit and all that shit, because I don't want to. So there.
Man, now I'm all sad. I'm gonna sit over here and pout while Anthony tells us his news then.
All right. Fun time.
I'm going to eat some nuts while you guys argue this one out.
All right, Naki, you swallow your nuts.
Donkey, I don't even know what his news is to argue about it, so...
Alright, I'll start with the screen share because it all starts off of an image. So what they released this week from Marvel is we now have our for the post sequel, all new, all different for the all 37th time Avengers cast. So what we've got is supposedly Tony Stark in the Iron Man suit, the Sam Wilson caps, Vision, Lady Thor, because you have to differentiate between Thor and Lady Thor. It's still the female Thor. The new Miss Morales, and Sam Alexander, the new Kid Nova. So we've got our post Secret Wars Avengers, which a bunch of people are flipping out about because it basically means that Miles Morales is definitely going to be part of the regular Marvel 616. So
that's a good thing.
As we assume, Secret Wars, Miles isn't dead, but he is part of the group. It's a little weird because honestly, now looking at the image, if you just cut it in half, the top half is the Avengers, and the bottom half should be the new Warriors team. Really, it's 3 teenagers. Why the fuck is that the Avengers team? They should be the new Warriors team.
Well, it's one Avengers team at least.
Yeah, and supposedly, it's supposedly the main book written by Mark Waid with Mahmoud Ashrar and Laura Martin. I can't remember if Laura Martin does colors or inks, but I think Mahmoud's going to be doing the artwork, which means the book will be gorgeous. It's Mark Waid, so we know it's going to be written really well. But I have 2 gigantic problems with this art. Well, one with the article and one with the team. So now it's super dick mode.
So I can't interrupt you?
You
That's
cannot
right.
interrupt.
I want to interrupt.
No. This article, this news being released now, Secret Wars doesn't start for 2 months. Why the fuck am I seeing the Avengers from after an event that hasn't started? Why are we releasing news stories about shit that's going to tell us how stuff ends before the story has even fucking begun? It's like when they come out on Tuesday morning with the USA Today article telling you about a character that's going to die in a Marvel comic that gets released that Wednesday. I fucking hate the fact that they want all these news articles just as they get. The whole point is getting them out, getting their clickbait, and getting their fucking hits on their websites, and it doesn't matter if it ruins a story, messes with something. It's I just find it so fucking annoying that we need this shit so early. They could have released this image halfway through Secret Wars, and it wouldn't have made any difference to the actual releasing of the image or ramping up to the book. But no, they have the entire Avengers roster set before we even start the event, where they're doing the Worlds Collide, doing all the alternate universes, bringing everything together. So we already know no matter what happens in the story, Miles doesn't die, Richard Rider doesn't come back. We know fucking Steve Rogers isn't putting back on the suit. This cover tells us tons about a story that hasn't even started yet. I find that super fucking annoying. That, and my other problem is this whole article goes on about the diversity of the roster. And they talk about the Harvey Renee Index, and they have to have what is it? Most surprisingly, the roster includes only 1 white male. Why is that even fucking important? This article talks about the ethnic diversity on the Avengers team, which is a good thing to have, but they act like it's the most important thing when they're casting the roster. Mark Waid should have been able to put whoever the fuck he wanted on this team to tell good Avengers stories. If this team was built by, social committee and mandate from Marvel, then what we're going to see is another Avengers story that lasts 8 to 10 issues and gets fucking canceled because Mark Waid can't write the story he wants to write. Okay, I'm done.
I wish I could get pissed off about Marvel spoiling something like this anymore, but it's par for the course. I'm just so used to it, it doesn't affect me, and I probably just overran you.
It's still making me mad almost every week, where they're like, because usually it is a USA Today article that comes out a week or 2 weeks prior to the book's actually being launched that will spoil or ruin a book. That if you're an actual reader of that book and you specifically avoid previews, have the book on your pull list, and then want to wait till Wednesday when you go pick up your books, the day they're available for sale, and you want to be surprised that day, but you happen to be walking by a newsstand and USA Today has it on the front fucking page that Captain America dies, like, it's not going to change how many readers they get, and it's not driving people to the goddamn comic book stores. It would have worked if they put it out on USA Today on Thursday morning just as well, but yet they're willing to, like, shoot their own customers in the foot. It fucking bugs me.
So we know that Marvel does this. This is just something that we.
And to be honest,
I know DC and Marvel are both like really known for doing.
Image doesn't.
Hang on, let me. Shh. Calm down, Anthony. I'm on your side. I've just come to like acknowledge the fact that they're always going to do this, and nothing will ever be a surprise to me in comic books anymore, unless I'm looking at independent. So I've just come to terms with this. But then I completely agree with you. They're shooting themselves in the foot because they're losing their hardcore fan base, the ones who have been with them since they were, de-speak, still in the womb, because people want to be surprised. They're missing out on the surprise, and especially if they're giving you the end of Secret Wars before Secret Wars has even happened. I completely agree with you, Anthony. The second point, though, about the diversity thing, it's because I agree with you. It shouldn't be pointed out. It was kind of like when we had the all-female X-Men team, and people kept pointing out that it was all-female. And I'm like, yeah, it was great. And then Wolverine came, and then it wasn't all-female anymore, and that lasted, I think, 8 issues. And I'm like, and this is going to happen again. We're going to get.
And Jennifer said it felt forced. The A team felt forced. It didn't feel like a natural story.
Right, and it's. Like, and to me, like, this is a great thing. Like, I'm excited for it, but the fact that they keep pointing it out just makes the other comics look like, hey, you know how this comic is really diverse, and, we have Miss Marvel now who is of different heritage than what the former Miss Marvel was, and we have, Miles Morales who is half and half, and we've got, and that's really cool, but the fact that we have to keep pointing it out just points out the fact that there's still a problem. And that there's still everybody is a white guy. And I think they're just kind of rubbing it in DC's face that they really don't have any diversity at all, like, other than Batwoman, which
I guess maybe my point is that I don't think that a character being ethnically diverse makes for better storytelling.
No, it doesn't. It all depends on how you write it.
Comics. That's my problem. I want good comics. It doesn't matter. Mark Waid could have 5 straight white guys on the team, and he could write a good story. And if I'm just saying that if he's being told these are your Avengers that you're going to write, instead of him getting to choose his team, which I don't know if that's what happened, but it's kind of what it looks like.
Right, but here's the thing: is like it all depends on how you write these characters. And I have full faith in Mark Waid because he has yet to disappoint me in his writing. So I have full faith in Mark. He is a fantastic writer. So I have full faith in him that he would write these characters and write them with a good justice behind him. If it was someone like, fucking, who's the original guy for Deadpool? Why can't I think of his name?
Rob Liefeld?
Rob Liefeld, the creator?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, Rob Liefeld. If it was him writing it, it'd be a totally different story. But we're talking, someone who has a history of writing really good story and writing characters well. So this actually, like, the fact that they're pointing out as diverse is just saying, like, to me, it's just saying, like, look, we finally are getting our act together, and we're giving you diversity that you keep pounding us for, and we have a good writer behind it, so it should be a good story on top of the fact that we have a diverse cast. Like, I don't think that's how I see it. I understand where you're coming from, and I understand that we're pushing diversity in your face. We're going to continue to shove this in your face. Like, I understand where you're coming from, but I think the fact that they equipped it with a good writer, a beautiful artist, we're actually going to get the story that everyone's craving for, and that's what they're trying to push.
Could be. I guess it kind of makes me mad because literally if you take the bottom half of that team, put them back on the New Warriors, which the Volume 5 New Warriors team that they just canceled was an ethnically diverse team that had more
they never pushed it
than most Avengers teams have ever had. And yeah, they give that book nothing. And it was
I actually have every
awesome.
episode or every issue of that one.
Yeah, the art was
issue.
amazing. The storyline they came up with was really good. They put together the team in a really fun way. Like, that book was great, and it was ethnically diverse, but they didn't worry about, like, putting big, giant articles out about how ethnically diverse the New Warriors were. They're like, hey, we're bringing the New Warriors back. Check out this cool team. And then they give it nothing.
New Warriors doesn't have the draw that Avengers does, though.
Well, they might not have that much draw if this is the team they're going with.
Well, here's the thing, though. It's an Avengers book, which means every year the team is going to change because they'll do their next big mega event after Secret Wars. There's going to be a shuffle, and everyone on the team will change again. So I've gotten to the point on most of the Marvel stuff, I'm like, okay, it'll be around for a year. There's no use getting pissed off about it anymore because it's all temporary. And maybe it's just because I'm cranky on all these things. Because
you are a cranky old man, Chris.
I'm a continuity nut. I'll fully establish that for people. I like stories that everything ties together. You reach back and you find something that's talked about like 2 years ago that comes into play later. And with just the way things go now, it's, we're going to change things every year, and some of the stuff will still exist, but we won't talk about other stuff. And it gets annoying because you get invested in the story and then it's gone.
Well, I'm kind of excited because this is the first time Marvel's ever wiped their universe. DC's done it 4 or 5 times, and this is the first time that we're seeing that happen.
Actually, at Emerald City Comic Con, they made a point, both Marvel and various writers, saying this is not a reboot of the Marvel Universe.
They're shoving all the alternate universes into one planet and then coming out with a new version of the Marvel 616 at the end of it. That sounds like a fucking reboot to me.
I'm just telling you what they've been saying at Emerald City Comic Con, vehemently saying this is not a reboot of the Marvel Universe.
Well, and it has gotten me. I just added 13 Marvel books to my pull list for the Secret Wars for all the different titles that they're doing. So the Secret Wars thing is getting me to buy Marvel books, but I was going into it not knowing what the Marvel Universe was going to look like coming out of it, and I found that very exciting and very cool. And now I already know what the Avengers team is going to look like when Secret Wars is over. It's like, well, I don't need to pick up any of the Avengers books from Secret Wars because I don't care. I know what the team's going to be.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I don't know, I'm at one of those stages again where I'm kind of burnt out in most of the books. I'm only reading a few select books, like Spider-Man and Guardians and All New X-Men. I think that's about all I'm reading on Marvel right now. In DC,
my Marvel pull list is getting much shorter, and my DC pull list has been canceled.
My DC pull list is 1 book, and it's Batman, just because I want to figure out how it's all going to work, and I don't know.
That was the last one I was getting, but it's gone.
Dressman's chimed in the chat room. He goes, well, we all are a bit jaded. We all were a bit pissed at the New 52. And, yeah, I'll admit I was there, too, and it lasted longer than I expected it to. So I'll give DC kudos on that. They stuck to it for, 4 years?
Something like that? 4 or 5 years.
Sorry, I went on to Facebook to because I forgot to promo this morning. And the first thing that pops up in my trending is X-Men actor hints at his final performance as Wolverine. Are they going to kill him off in the universe now too?
No, I had that news coming up for later. We can.
Sorry, it just popped up.
Yeah, we'll get into that here in just a sec. But let's get off this topic first. Get off.
No.
Sorry.
Get off.
No.
Did you guys have any more you wanted to say on the Mighty Marvel reboot?
Meh.
Awesome.
Just that they're making me buy a lot of Image comics.
Yeah, well, so that's good for Image, I guess, right?
Image and Action Lab, man, they're getting all my allowance now. Those 2 companies take all the money that I used to give to Marvel because Marvel keeps canceling all the books I love, like New Warriors and X Factor, and yeah.
Works for me. So before we move on to the rest of the news this week, we're starting to try and help promote some more stuff in the network a little more. So in this show and other Gonna Geek shows, you're going to hear us talk about what's been going on in other shows. So if you want to hear more about trolling, because we talked about trolling before, go check out episode 88 of the official Gonna Geek podcast. It's called JSB Trolling, because we found out in that episode he might have been trolling about saying Star Trek motion pictures better than episode 1. And then it might have also sparked a fight with himself and one of the other folks on the panel. It's pretty good. And on that podcast, the Gonna Geek podcast, they also comment on Howard Stern's comments on podcasters. I'm not sure if you guys had seen them, but basically Howard Stern just came out very anti-podcaster about a week ago, and one Stephen Big Papa John Drew was hella pissed, and it was a lot of fun. So if you want to go check that out, go over to GonnaGeek.com/network, and you can find episode 88 of the GonnaGeek.com podcast, where we talk about trolling and all that other crap. Go do it, it's fun. And now we'll move into the other news. Trolling. So Naki brought up the fact that Hugh Jackman was talking about not being Wolverine anymore, and I cannot find the story because I hadn't pulled it up yet. But from what I recall here,
sorry, my bad.
No, you're good. Hugh Jackman had gone on Instagram, and sent out a photo of himself with Wolverine claws. It says something to the effect of "one last time" or something like that. So a lot of people are figuring that after
wasn't he just talking about doing that role until he died?
That's why I was confused too.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, so,
I mean, he is getting older, so you gotta, like, he can't be in that awesome shape forever.
Right, so what he actually posted, if you're on the Facebook, or if you're on the live feed right now, you can see it. Hugh Jackman posts a picture of himself with Wolverine claws. It says, "Wolverine one last time." And a lot of people are theorizing that means after Wolverine 3, which I guess they're supposed to be filming soon, he's going to step back from the role for a while. And I can kind of see why he might want to, because it takes a physical toll to get that ripped, I'm sure, and stay that ripped, both physical and mental. And,
and he's talked about it too, because he's progressively gotten in better shape every time he's played Wolverine, which it's really sad. If you go watch X1, he thought he was in great shape for that movie. You go watch X1 and then watch Wolverine 2, those are two separate humans. Like, the dude in Wolverine 2 would kick the dog shit out of the Hugh Jackman in X-Men 1. But
it's
that seriously takes a toll on you.
It's kind of like The Rock being the only person who could be more ripped than The Rock is The Rock.
Is the new version of The Rock? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and the fact is that Hugh Jackman, he's getting older, and I would assume that to stay in that great of shape, even when you're an older gent, would be really tolling on your body. And he's got kids, and he's got a wife he's got to worry about, and it's like, you don't want to screw that up.
Each and every time he does it.
Yeah, so
right.
Chris is in the chat room, and he goes, I think Jackman has gone back and forth about it. That's 100% true. I mean, he's gone back and forth the past few years about whether he wants to keep doing the role. But this is one of the first times he's kind of more hinted at the fact that he might be done with it versus like, I'm just not sure. And Draftsman brings up a really good point that I was going to bring up myself. He goes, I want to see him do Old Man Logan. So I think you wait about 10, 15 years, do an Old Man Logan film with Hugh Jackman, and that would be hella fun.
Well, yeah,
you don't even have to wait that long. I mean, makeup has done leaps and bounds.
But yeah, because he had talked about playing that role until he died, and saying specifically that doing the Old Man Logan movie would be a blast.
So,
and that is one of my favorite. I think it's a lot of people's favorites. Old Wolverine storylines, and I think he would be perfect for that. So.
It's one of the best Wolverine stories. If anybody hasn't read it, go pick up Old Man Logan. It's depressing.
It's worth your read.
It's sad, but it's also beautifully written, and Steve McNiven's artwork on it is utterly fantastic.
So here's how I would encourage you guys to look at this, and it's a lot of the way you see in sports, is at the very end of the season, all these players like, I don't know, I might just retire because they're tired and they're wore down. He just did the last X-Men movie. Presumably he's getting all fired up and getting back in the gym to get ready to film Wolverine 3, which is supposed to come out next year. He's probably getting to that point where he's just tired, and his body is telling him, you might want to be done. And you wait a few months after the movie's done and he's had some time to relax, he might be like, I'll do another one.
He might, and there's also the fact that you got to be, he probably wants to do other roles and to be taken seriously and not just do Wolverine. I mean, he's done a lot of other movies that he's been really good in, and the man can sing. If you have not seen Wolverine sing, you need to go Google that shit, because Wolverine can sing.
Oh yeah, that's the funny thing. He's a song and dance man.
Yeah, and I bet you anything, like, he wants to go back to his roots, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, so we've been talking about the X-Men family. Let's keep it in the family, and we'll go to one of the other big stories that came out this week. And I know I was excited to see it. And if the Adahy were on the show today, he would be too. Ryan Reynolds tweeted out the first picture of himself in the full Deadpool costume. And if you're watching the live stream, we've got it up right now for you. He tweeted that picture saying, with great power comes great irresponsibility. Yep. And it's a picture of Deadpool laid out on his side, laying on a bearskin carpet in front of the fireplace. And it kind of fits the character. But I do have to say, this costume's fantastic.
It looks good.
I mean,
Crotch
great.
shot.
What, you want a
Crotch
little Ryan Reynolds crotch right there?
And crotch shot. Yeah, it's the killer looking getup.
I mean, he's and the tweets that followed that, he was like, "No bears were harmed" or something like that in the making of this photo.
I love what it's a riff on. That's what makes it hilarious. And you guys do know what it's riffing on. Ryan Reynolds also tweeted that photo.
Oh, did he put out the other one too?
Yes, this is what that the Deadpool pose is meant to remind you of. This from the late 70s, I believe it is. Good old Burt Reynolds on the bearskin rug.
Oh, Burt.
At the time, that was like the sexiest man in the world.
Yeah.
It was. Look at that mustache. How could you say no?
Look at that
How could you
70s
say no to that
chest
mustache?
hair. That's all man, baby.
I don't even know how to respond.
Well, I mean, if I was in the 70s, I'd be all like, Burt Reynolds!
Burt Reynolds! So, in addition to putting out the picture, they gave out the synopsis. The official synopsis says that Deadpool tells the origin story of a former Special Forces operative turned mercenary, Wade Wilson, who, after being subjected to a rogue experiment that leaves him with accelerated healing powers, adopts the alter ego Deadpool. Armed with his new abilities and a dark, twisted sense of humor, Deadpool hunts down the man who nearly destroyed his life. Please let him break the fourth wall in this movie.
I mean, he did in that trailer thing.
Movie.
Yeah, he did in the test footage, and Willie said in the chat room, actually, I really agree with it. He goes, please, dear, whatever God, make it like the test footage. And if they keep that tone, I think we're in good shape.
Yeah. I mean, do you think they're going to go the cancer route, or are they going to and give him the deformity face?
I think you kind of have to. I mean, him wanting to escape the cancer and go on is the reason he goes and does these experiments, and that's what shapes him into it.
Yeah, but she's talking about the after effects of his healing factor basically turning all of his skin cancerous into where it's constantly healing and dying. I don't know if they're going to go so far as to give us a Ryan Reynolds that they can't put on camera.
I don't know, man.
Where he's always just pure makeup. Because that would be a ballsy move. I mean, look how it was in Dread that we never saw Carl Urban's face.
Yeah,
like,
that
it's the
movie
first
was
superhero movie.
I was going to say, but that movie was fucking badass.
It was, but I mean, it was the first superhero movie where you didn't see the hero's face. And I mean, we all joke about how many times fucking Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire have to take their goddamn mask off as Spider-Man is the worst secret identity in movies. I mean, he's always taken... Rhino opens his helmet 3 times in one sequence. What the fuck? They cannot hide an actor's face in these superhero films. And to actually have a Ryan Reynolds...
Or in the TV shows.
Or in the TV
Everybody
shows.
knows who Arrow is.
Everybody should at this point.
Except
Captain
Captain
if you have a Ryan Reynolds that, even if he takes the Deadpool mask off underneath his cancerous skin to where you can't recognize the actor, I would love it. I just think it's a ballsy move that Fox isn't willing to do. I think we'll see maybe his cheeks will be messed up a little bit, but he'll still be completely recognizable as Ryan Reynolds. I don't think he's going to look like Freddy Krueger hamburger.
That's part of what makes him go crazy, though, is the fact that he's effing ugly now.
Mm-hmm. I just don't think he's going to look like Freddy Krueger hamburger underneath the mask.
Yeah, I don't think they'll go that far.
I don't think they'll go that far.
A couple other things I wanted to point out in this one because it's hilarious. I don't know if you guys had seen some of the Twitter reactions. One of my favorite ones is Morena Baccaran's because she's co-starring in the movie with Ryan Reynolds, presumably as Deadpool's love interest. So all she tweets is a picture of the costume and goes, "I'd hit that." And then the last thing I wanted to share with you guys is if you go to the Deadpool movie Twitter account, the only account that the Deadpool movie is following is Hello Kitty.
Nice.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool. There was other X-Men news too. Apparently, Jennifer Lawrence said she's done with Mystique after the next one.
That's all she's under contract for, so she's done. Is anyone surprised by this?
Yeah.
I don't know. 8 hours of being airbrushed to get on camera nude, basically, is probably not as shitty as having to go through the Wolverine workout, but I'll bet it ain't fun.
Well, I mean, you still got to be in shape for that, though, too. I mean, because you're gonna be basically nude on camera for, they go for filming. Say it's a 6-hour day, so you have to go through makeup for 8 hours, 6 hours of filming, and then 4 hours to take all that makeup off to basically just be nude all day.
Yeah.
And you still have to stay in shape for that too. Which, yeah.
So they've been talking
Pass.
in the chat room about how they want Ryan Reynolds to look in this movie, and Draftsman's got the one that has just made me laugh the most. He goes, I mean, I would love to see Ryan Reynolds with makeup. I want to see Ryan Reynolds look like Edward James Olmos.
Ouch. That's harsh.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I mean, if you have that you know, it's a self-confidence thing. It's like, well, if Ryan Reynolds looks like Edward James Olmos, that means I could be the new Ryan Reynolds, right?
There you go.
There you go. So
Something like that.
I've got a few more news stories. We're looking at the time. We're starting to run out. But one last comic book movie / comic one we should talk about is the Latino Review is reporting that supposedly in Avengers 2 we will get Captain Marvel. The Carol Danvers Captain Marvel, and that supposedly Marvel has already cast Carol Danvers since she's in there. Now, we don't know anything else. It needs to be
But you know who
did?
Is it me? It's me.
It's you.
Did you see who they cast as Jubilee? I'm actually kind of excited.
I didn't even see they'd cast Jubilee. I'm so burnt out on the X-Men movies.
Sorry. Jubilee was cast this week, too. And it's an actual little Asian girl, and I'm actually really excited for this. Sorry.
Yeah,
that was
she's
my
a cutie.
little... She's really cute. And
Do we know what the Jubilee actress is from? Has she been in anything big that we would know her from?
I didn't recognize her. So
'Cause I didn't see anything on her IMDb that I recognized. But yeah, she's definitely a little cute actress. And Jubilee will be Asian.
Yes. Jubilee will actually be Asian. I was actually really scared that they were
Go
going to be
figure.
Jubilee.
Do it the right way. Going back
I
to
know.
going back to the Captain Marvel stuff, the rumor is that she'll appear at the end of the movie because we're assuming with Civil War coming up, there's going to be a split in the Avengers, and that she would be on Captain America's Avengers team.
I'm betting we're going to get Carol Danvers in Air Force uniform cameo. I don't think we're going to get an actual Miss Marvel cameo.
Latino Review, I think, is where this is coming from. They're reporting also that Marvel has a skeleton of a story for a Captain Marvel solo film put together, but they're looking for a writer. Kelly Sue DeConnick is up for the gig, but hasn't snagged it yet, and supposedly Jim Starlin is on board as a consultant.
Oh, wow.
Who's previously done Captain Marvel stuff. They're also, and then they also bring up a fact that previously Jessica Chastain had said she'd had discussions with Marvel about, quote, aligning their forces on an upcoming movie. So a lot of people think she might be Captain Marvel, but also they don't want you to forget that Emily Blunt has said she wants to play Captain Marvel before, and she almost was Black Widow, so there's a pre-existing relationship. So who honestly knows who it's going to be, but if the rumor's true, I'm excited to see a Captain Marvel movie coming, well, more on the Captain Marvel movie coming out.
It's me. Why do you think I'm working out all the time?
Well, we didn't want to ruin your non-disclosure agreement.
Oh, right. Well, it's not like I go by my real name on here anyway, so.
That's true.
Chastain.
That's true.
Jessica Chastain might not look bad in a blonde wig.
There's that too. So I had a couple more news stories before we start closing things out. We haven't talked a lot of gaming lately. That's one of the things I've been bad about without having Adahy on here because he was our primary game person. But this is a news story that I just came up upon, and it kind of bummed me out. I may not have a Wii U, but I'm really bummed to see that the Zelda game for the Wii U has been delayed until 2016 now. It was supposed to come out presumably Christmas time this year, and they've just pushed it to sometime in 2016.
Yeah, but you could always think of it especially when it comes to gaming, it doesn't always bother me that they get bumped because it generally means the game gets better.
Well, there's that. I just think,
and Nintendo's good for that.
Yeah, but they need that Zelda game.
Game delays are usually the opposite of movie delays.
Well, for instance, Batman Arkham Knight's been delayed twice. The one was a delay of 6 months. Excuse me, and this most recent delay was 3 weeks. So I was like, a 3-week delay? I don't give a crap. I can live with that. I don't know. They've just been promoting the Zelda game for so long. I think that was presumably a game that would bring more people to the Wii U console. So I'm kind of bummed to see that it gets pushed back.
I mean, I get it. Because, you really want people to want the Wii U. This next-gen launch has been so soft that, because they don't have any games out for anything, so nobody wants to buy it. Now I don't blame them. Except now Borderlands has the Handsome Jack collection, so now I'm kind of feeling like I need to.
And Funko Pop figures.
And Funko Pop figures, which I'm going to get all 4 of them. Handsome Jack, I'm going to get several of them so I can have the Handsome Jack army like you should. But anyway,
is there multiples of him in the game? I was assuming that when you said that.
His in Borderlands the pre-sequel, you can get him as a playable character, and his special is that he has Hollow Jacks, and they fight for you while you can run around and do whatever.
Nice.
Interesting.
You can trigger it to go up to a minute of having hollow jacks, which I have. So that is my thing. But like with the Wii U with Zelda, the thing is that like Nintendo is really good with their fan base. So my guess is that they played it, they didn't like it, so they're going to make it better. And
I hope that's the case too. It's just that's one of those games that would maybe convince me I needed a Wii U if there was a price drop. But that's
now you don't need one by Christmas.
Well, yeah, now I don't need one by Christmas. I mean, that would also be one of those ones like, hey, I know you've got a Wii U. You bought Zelda. Can I come play it? I'm a very much a Zelda fan.
I wish, like, I really only played Ocarina of Time. I really haven't played any of the other ones.
That's because Ocarina of Time is one of the best Zeldas ever.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to play Majora's Mask, and I haven't picked it up.
I wasn't into Majora's Mask because of the way they handled. You only have like a 48-hour window to do things, so you're repeatedly traveling through time to do stuff, and it was a pain in the ass. Ocarina of Time, not Majora's Mask. What was the one? Twilight Princess. That's also really good, but my favorite of all time is Link to the Past.
Yeah,
this one,
Super Nintendo.
This one that came out a couple years ago for Nintendo 3DS or DS, A Link Between Worlds. I played a little bit of that. I borrowed a boyfriend's copy, and that was kind of fun. But I didn't get to finish it. I only got I think it was like 2 hours into it. So, but it was good. I liked it.
So I had one last news story before we close things out, and it's because the internet blew up this week because supposedly CBS was looking to bring Star Trek back to TV. There's absolutely no truth whatsoever to this rumor, according to the Latino Review. This is all coming from this, and if you remember, we talked about this rumor probably 6-8 months ago that they were looking at doing another Star Trek show. So when this came out, I said this is the exact same rumor we talked about, where they're talking about doing a Federation TV show and things like that. And really, it's the same thing that came out back then with supposedly Bryan Singer being attached. I just love seeing how the internet rumors kind of rebirth themselves.
They do it all on their own too, because there's been a couple that I've seen like resurface. I'm like, no, that was proven that it was a lie. Stupid.
Yeah,
Stupid.
They even contacted the guy that was supposedly responsible for the pitch, and he goes, all of the Federation information is true, but we did that 10 years ago. That treatment was written but effectively killed off when J.J. Abrams took over. So basically there's a mixture of some true information about a 10-year-old project and then some excitement about a rumor that isn't true about a Star Trek series, which really kind of bums me out because I, for one, would love to see a Star Trek series back on TV. So I didn't have to wait.
Watching Star Trek.
Star Trek was one of my first loves as a sci-fi fan. Something I used to watch with my dad all the time growing up was Star Trek Next Gen. So it'll always have a place in my heart.
When I try to imagine you people as kids, I basically just see your guys' head on tiny bodies, and that doesn't work.
Does it include the beard too?
It includes the no hair and the beard, so it doesn't really work. I'm like, wait, you wouldn't.
Yeah, this head looked very different.
Same here.
I basically look the same. I've looked at pictures from me. I'm like, yeah, you could tell it was me.
Not me. I don't look like the little kid running around junior high. I don't look like him at all.
I've always been just like the chubby weird girl. Whatever. Nap time, guys. It's
I basically didn't have a jaw until I went to boot camp. So yeah.
Jaw.
Jawsome? No, I got nothing. So as we wrap things up, I'm going to do another quick promo for another show on the network because we need you guys, our peanut gallery, and our listeners to know what else is going on. Go check out episode 53 of Walking the Walking Dead, where the hosts discuss episodes, the last 2 episodes of the series, Spend and Try. You might want to get caught up because the Walking Dead season finale, the 90-minute finale, is tonight.
Chris is also on Walking the Walking Dead, in case you don't get enough Chris.
I was trying to leave that part out, but basically... we also talk about in that episode, they have announced the title for the spin-off series to The Walking Dead. So if you want to know a little bit more about the spin-off and hear some thoughts on the last 2 episodes of The Walking Dead, go over to GonnaGeek.com/network and check out episode 53 of Walking the Walking Dead.
Yeah, they need to finish season 6 because that's the time that season 5 will drop on Netflix. I need me a weekend of The Walking Dead again.
Well, I would say probably in the next 4 or 5 months you'll get the season 5 stuff on Netflix. They're pretty quick.
Quick, I have to wait a year. That's not quick.
I haven't watched after, I think it was season 3.
My interest, I've said as much before on this show and the other one, is my interest wax and wanes. Sometimes they do something really good and I'm like, yeah, and then other times they just try and stretch things out so much I'm like, oh god, this is boring. Why are you doing it?
There is some serious delay in some of the storytelling in The Walking Dead.
That being said, I'm not afraid to voice my displeasure with it, so that's why you should listen to me talk about it.
There you go.
Yay!
Shameless self-promotion complete. So let's wrap up the show. We'll do that in our traditional way by sharing with you, our peanut galleries listening live, and our listeners who might be listening in a later date, what we've been getting into and what we're planning on getting into coming up. And Naki, how about you go first?
It's tattoo day, bitches! Yeah! I am getting my Calvin and Hobbes tattoo today, so that is what I am getting into. It is a 6-hour piece, so I am currently chugging coffee and eating cashews, and we'll be going in later to feast on some fried chicken, because I want me some fried chicken a lot. And so that is my plan for the day. Other than that, I caught up on Flash and Arrow and iZombie this week, which I'm fucking loving iZombie. I really like Flash. Arrow is... My love for Arrow wax and wanes. It just because I'm so frustrated with the fact that everybody knows it's Oliver Queen except for Detective Lance because he's an idiot or something. I don't know. And then I really, really, really like Flash. I really like the reverse Flash storyline that they're going with. And iZombie has just been fun. Like, it's just a fun show. And then on top of that, I started watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which if you're not watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, that show's fucking hilarious.
I did watch about half the first season. It was fun. I just ran out of time and watched other things instead.
It's all on Hulu, so
okay.
I've been watching it that way. Other than that, I have been reading more of Terry Pratchett. I have been doing schoolwork, but now I'm on spring break, so I might actually get stuff done this week.
Woohoo!
And woohoo! I'm so excited. And I've been doing a whole lot of working out and weightlifting because I got a new gym partner and she's kicking my ass. So.
And because you got to be Captain Marvel.
And because I got to be Captain Marvel. Sorry, bitches. That role's taken.
I love it. So I'll go next. I've been getting caught up on all my comic shows. So I'm caught up on all of the shows except Constantine. Well, all the shows I've been watching, let me put it that way. The stuff I haven't started, I still haven't gotten to. I went and pre-ordered my Samsung Galaxy S6, which we talked about at the top of the show, so I won't touch on that too much. I recorded last night, and I only got to watch a few minutes of it, but I'll finish today. The Rock was the guest host on SNL last night. So I will be watching that today. In early reviews,
the last time for the Rock Obama.
Yeah, the last time I checked on Twitter last night, people were saying, "Man, we're only 10 minutes in. This is probably one of the best SNLs of the year." So I was like, "Okay, I'm in for this."
I'm gonna watch it today.
Did want to let people know, don't forget, you want to watch Flash this week, because Luke fucking Skywalker himself, Mark Hamill, will be on Flash this week. And I am incredibly excited to see Mark Hamill be the trickster again. Let's see. That's the other thing I forgot. I also started on Netflix while I was cooking this week in the kitchen, because I'd heard some good reviews and buzz on it. I started watching on The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and I'm about an episode and a half into it. And I can see where it's going to get good. It's got the hook in me enough to want to watch it. The first episode, I felt more bad for the character than laughing at things, but I like it so far.
Like I said, it's a lot like to me it just felt like a lot like 30 Rock, which
See, I
like
never
30 Rock, so it worked. So it worked for me. But yeah,
I wasn't a huge 30 Rock fan, so I'll probably get to it later. How about yourself, Anthony? Parks and Rec I might do eventually too. How about yourself, Anthony? What have you been getting into?
I am all caught up on all of my geek shows because live every Thursday night at CMYK TV podcast over on the POI network because I'm crossing networks, bitches. I'm on both and I won't go away. And then I had one thing that just real quick that we don't usually cover on here, but I want to see if you guys could tell me what all these names have in common. Satsumi Fujinami, Larry Zabisco, Alondra Blaze, the Bushwhackers, Rikishi, Kevin Nash, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and one more name. What do they all have in common?
WWE Hall of Fame.
That's right. That was the class last night. Tonight is the WrestleMania, so previous to WrestleMania, the night before, they always do the Hall of Fame inductees. And all of those are awesome. I mean, Big Sexy Kevin Nash, Schwarzenegger, Zbyszko, all huge names. It's awesome that they all got in. But the one thing that I thought was super cool, Pat Loika, famous fanboy, made it a big deal to go to WrestleMania this year. And his crew of like 8 or 9 guys all showed up wearing very specific sunglasses because the number one name inducted into the Hall of Fame this year was the Macho Man, Randy Savage. So there were tons of people in the audience rocking Macho Man glasses with their tuxedos. So yeah, very very cool that the Twin Power himself, motherfucking snap it to a Slim Jim, fucking Macho Man got put in the Hall of Fame, which is just awesome. Definitely deserving. Macho Man was great. I miss that guy.
Speaking of WrestleMania, real quick, if people wanted to watch it tonight, I do believe the WWE Network is still doing a free month-long trial for folks. So you could get your free month-long trial, watch WrestleMania, and then cancel it if you were into that kind of thing.
And if you don't know, the reason the WWE Network is way better than the UFC Fight Pass is because the WWE Network includes all pay-per-views.
Yes.
So yeah, their business model is much smarter than the UFC Fight Pass, which is why the WWE Network has passed 1 million subscribers and is now actually making them money. That was the point that they needed to get to for it to be a success, and it now is. So yeah, I like UFC Fight Pass because I get to see a lot more fights, but paying a monthly subscription fee and then not getting the pay-per-views is a pain in the ass. Other than that, I've been drawing Ninja Turtles. I finished my 4th turtle yesterday, so the commissions that I was asked to do for all 3 of the brothers I hadn't drawn for a friend's kid are done, and I will actually get a shot now at drawing the turtles from the new cartoon. My sister just let me know my nephew is turning 4 this month and has realized that he absolutely loves Leonardo and Raphael on the new show. So I'm going to draw some of the cartoon turtles as well and ship those off. They'll be on my Instagram, at Bachman Anthony.
Ooh. Shameless self-promotion, nothing wrong with that.
That's right. Because somebody somehow stole my name, Anthony Bachman, on Instagram, which I find very annoying.
So in the chat room, Willie Nelson's asking you might be able to answer this, Anthony, what is included in the UFC Fight Pass?
Fight Pass gives you, they have specific fights and specific events on Fight Pass. They used to have Facebook prelim fights, where the preliminary, the earliest fights on the fight card, usually the first 2 or 3 fights, that's most often no names, were on the UFC Facebook page for free. Now those are on the Fight Pass. So usually, even if it's a pay-per-view, you get like the first 2 or 3 fights. And there's specific, like not pay-per-view events, but specific events that are just on Fight Pass. But that's all you get. You don't get anything outside of that, other than occasional ones that are done in other countries will be streamed live on Fight Pass. But even some of those are blacklisted. So yeah, I really don't see the upside to it unless you do get their entire back catalog, even the stuff that Dana White said would never be released because of fighters that he had problems with. But yeah, the entire UFC back catalog back to UFC 1 is on there. So that's cool. Do get a huge library. And it's definitely like, if you drop $10 on it for a month and go back and watch all the great fights, it's definitely worth it. I just can't see paying it continuously going forward because you don't get the pay-per-views. And their pay-per-views are still so expensive, and they do 2 to 3 a month now. There's more UFC fights during a month than there is wrestling events, and that's insane.
Yeah, that's crazy. So before we move on to closing things off, since we shamelessly self-promote our stuff and the network stuff, I did want to promote one last thing. After the show today, Willie in the chat room let me know he's going to be playing some games on Twitch. So if you want to see him play, last time he was playing Lego Marvel, and time before that, Grand Theft Auto 5, go to twitch.tv/SouthPorky. Porky is in Porky Pig, I'm guessing, or the same spelling at least. So head on over to twitch.tv/SouthPorky to watch him play some games. I went there after the show last week while I was editing. It was fun. It made me miss playing Lego Marvel Superheroes. It really did.
I need a PS3 again. I need to sell this damn house. I need a PS3.
Yeah.
Lego Marvel Superheroes game is just sitting there unplayable.
Do it. So I guess that's going to wrap us up for this week. A big thank you to everyone in the Peanut Gallery who joined us this week. We love
You are
having you guys
very
on there.
peanutty.
It's a ton of fun. We stream live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, and like I always say, you guys can do the math from there because I don't want to. Over at live.atgnpodcast.com or at gonnageek.com/live. You can go to either of those sites to find our live stream. Just a side note, on the gonnageek.com/live page is a schedule for all of the network shows that broadcast live. So you can go to that website, watch any of those shows live when they're doing a live stream. It's a lot of fun. We've had some fun interaction with listeners on other live shows. Let's see, what else was I going to say? You can hit us up on all the social medias. Let us know what you think about the show or mock us because we're susceptible to mocking and we think it's hilarious. Over on the Twitters at ATGN Podcast or on Facebook at facebook.com/allthingsgoodandnerdy. But if you really want to lay into us or give us your opinion in a way that you can express it yourself, give us a call on the hotline at 304-806-ATGN, and you can lay into us. It'll be fun. We take criticism well, and then we laugh at you.
I fucking dare you.
Ooh, that's a challenge. Now I've actually got to get my setup right next week in case we do get someone that calls, because I don't have it set up to play voicemails very well on my current audio rig.
Better get on it, Chris.
You
You guys are making me spend some money, damn it.
Ha.
So before we wander off until next week, you guys got any parting thoughts for us?
always look on the bright side of life. Doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo.
I got you for 3 minutes.
More than that, it's not
3
fair.
minutes of playtime.
Chris, I didn't hear what you said.
I said you can't say any more of that. It's not fair use, and we get charged.
That's as far as it goes.
No more singing, because we'll get charged, and I can't afford it.
Are you sure? Are you sure you can't afford it, Chris? Are you sure? Are you sure?
I'm 100% positive. 100% purely positive. So, guys, thank you again so much for joining us, and we will see you next week. Until then, have a good one. Bye, guys.
Bye. Robot penis.